I see what's going on here. Let me see if I can fix this. Really fast here. Okay. This is correct. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So we should be live. Hello. I hope you guys are seeing me and hearing me. I've got the chat here. There we go. Jerry Lawton, what's up, son? Let me move this over here. I just have to get organized on this other computer, and we'll be straight here in a second. Okay, good, good, good. We're looking good. Let's get rid of that line on the right side there. On the left side, I'm sorry. There we go. Excellent. Okay. Hello, guys. Oh, James, Jerry, Kathy, Scott, how's it going, guys? I see 4 of you have said hello. Let me hear from the other 15 or 16 of you. Please, or now there's 18 more of you. Please say hello to me. Love to hear from all of you. All right, Steve Running, hello. Looks good, bro. I see it, lol, Jerry. Okay, good, 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 good. We're good. Are we good? Are we good? We're very good. Are we good? Okay, let's do this. All right, let's move this plant. I had done some cleaning back here on this windowsill, but I want to move this plant so you guys can get a nice view of the waterfall. The waterfall, right? So we'll just move this mirror here out of the way. There we go. Great. Great. Now we got all the things we like to see. All the things we like to see. Hey, Zina, Jerry, Bob, Scuba Cook, Chad Fisher. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 everybody. So, Andrew's trimming in there and in the living room. I didn't want to disturb. She's got a show going. So I was like, no big deal. Let her do her thing. And I'm going to come in here and broadcast from here. So as to not just disturb her trim zen. And we're still able to. I know some of you guys really like this room. Some of you actually like this room better. Hey, I think we should put the other plant up there. What do you guys say? I think this plant would go great right here. What do you think? Right here, just like that. Right? Yes? Yes? Nice? You like that? Little plant up there in the corner. Just kind of liven things up a little. Make it lively. I like to liven things up. So, like I told you guys this morning, Andrew's been trimming excellent buds. This is the Pineapple Express, and I wanted to try some of this with you guys for top of the hours coming right up. Where's the clock? What's up, Clocky? We've got problem. Oh, where's my clock? Clock is acting weird. Let's try a couple things here. Yeah, I gotcha. I got that shit figured out. There's our clock. There's our clock. Okay, let's yeah, let's fix that. And let's fix that. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. There we go. Dakota Goodwin's all. How's your healing going, brother? From your chainsaw accident. Can I call you, I was going to call you Choppy, but now I want to call you Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So can I just call you TCM? That's your name today. Dakota Goodwin's all. You're TCM today. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Choppy was good. I like Choppy. I like Choppy. Choppy's good. It's fun. But today you're Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sean, love that PEXP piece. What are you trying to say? I think you're trying to say. So, oh, Susan said, not Sean. Susan, my bad. Enoch, my favorite room because when I first started watching you, it was in this room on your mobile phone. I wish I had that bag, bro. You wish you had this bag? It would be pleasant, huh? I brought everything in here except the lighter. Give me a second. I can't. Oh, I got one. No, my bad. It was so small and tiny I could not see it. He's a tiny little lighter. But here it is. Cool. Let's set this up right here. Do that. TCM. You like that, Texas Chainsaw Man? What's up, TCM? It's all good. I don't mind. Good, Dakota. I love you, bro. I'm so glad that you did not kill yourself with that chainsaw. I'm so glad that you have all of your fucking arm. You've got all your limbs and your fingers and your toes. You know, I'm just glad. You're going to heal up, and that's cool. So, hey, man, I got me a little bit of a mussy beard. My beard's a little mussy. My beard's suffering from mussy beard. We got a couple things happening on the Twitter. We'll see if you guys can guess. You guys following Twitter? What's going on Twitter? What am I going to talk about? We'll see if anybody knows. If you guys are watching Twitter, Twitter's blowing up right now, and all of my favorite live streamers are going live right now to cover it. So can you guys tell everybody what's going on? Who can do it? In the meantime, it is top of the hour, 10 seconds. This is the Pineapple Express, just cut and trimmed down. We're going to see how it tastes and how it makes me feel. All right. No law regarding cannabis, everybody. Cheers. Yo, Keith. You look like a dude that just got blocked from my live stream. The less you have to handle one, the better off you are. All right, where are we at here? Let's rate this Pineapple Express. It's very smooth. It tastes like pineapples. The buzz is relaxing but uplifting at the same time. There is a little bit of a bite to it that might go away after a few weeks. But, not my favorite strain to smoke. I've got other things here that are better. But I will still give this 5 out of 5. It smells so delicious. Pineapple-y. Thank you, David C. Baker. If I called you Susan before, I'm sorry, bro. I think I may have done that. So, did anybody figure out what it is I'm going to be talking about that's going on crazy on Twitter right now? Birdie, oh my God. Steven Running gets it. Steve Running, you are a fucking genius. So Steven Running is on Twitter, and this is why he knows what's going on politically right now. You don't have to watch CNN. You don't have to watch Fox News. Just get on Twitter and follow the people that you trust. Okay? That's what Steven Running is doing. And now Steven Running knows exactly what's going on. He knows about it before a good portion of America knows about it because he was on Twitter, man. And that's true. Bernie Sanders endorsed Jake Unger, Uger, however you say his name, earlier. And there was backlash because Cenk has said some things on the Young Turks and on blogs and whatever in the past that were anti-woman. He was sexist, and he's grown up. A lot of us have over the last 10 years. A lot of us have grown up. He's one of them. And I do appreciate some of the things that he puts up. I don't agree with everything that Cenk says. And I don't watch him. I don't watch his show because he gets on my nerves. But I do respect him, and he does inspire me. He always has. I've always been impressed by what he was doing. Back in the day, be nice, be nice. When I was trying to figure out, hey, I was trying to figure out where my place was in the online community as far as live streaming, Jank was one of the people that I looked at, and I had to make a decision if I wanted to present myself professionally like that, or if I wanted to just be me and just, you know, and you could see what I decided. But he was still, I liked what he was doing, and I liked watching TYT grow from just him to him and Anna, and then, you know, blowing it up into this giant conglomerate that he's become. He's an impressive man, okay? And like I said, I might not agree 100% with all of his politics. He's a fucking gun grabber. I don't like that shit. I don't like gun grabbers, okay? That shit makes me nervous. I don't think he understands global dimming either, and that makes me nervous too. But that stuff aside, whatever he said 10, 20 years ago on a fucking blog about women, yeah, I'm not going to fucking hold that against him today, because of how he has changed his life and the good that he has brought to people. Right? He's changed. He's become a good person. I'm impressed. He inspires me to do the same thing. So, you know, he pisses me off. I disagree with him. I'll call him out sometimes. You know, don't think for 1 second that I don't support that man. 100%. I do support him 100%. And if he's running for office, that's one of the best things that could happen in this country. You know, he's one of the good people. He's been exposing the dirty underbelly of politics for the last 10 years on YouTube. And if you haven't watched, you know, you haven't paid attention, well, maybe you could go back and watch some of his stuff. I watched his interview with David Duke today, and it was fantastic. Fucking David Duke, he's a goddamn ex-grand wizard from the Ku Klux Klan. And Jake interviewed him and called him on every single bullshit line that he tried to throw down. It was a fantastic interview. It's exactly what I like to see in an interview. I hate when someone just sits there like Joe Rogan and just lets their guests say whatever the fuck they're going to say and doesn't call them on their bullshit when they know that it's bullshit. Oh, really? Oh, really? Is that how you see that? How'd you come to that conclusion? Oh, that's interesting how you... Yeah, I never thought of it that way. No. You're wrong. You don't have the facts. I do. And I'm going to have to call you out on your bullshit. And that's what Cenk did. He's a good interviewer. And he's a good person. And, you know, if Bernie Sanders' campaign wants to do the right thing, they will go back and they will right this wrong, because Bernie Sanders is just as guilty as Cenk as saying things about women in the past that were maybe not factual, or maybe off color, or maybe they were sexist. And, you know, Bernie's worked his whole life to grow past all that bullshit. And I can see that. But he needs to see that Cenk has done the same thing. Cenk deserves the benefit of the doubt from all of us. So, go out there, please, whether you agree with Cenk or not, even if you are David Honey Sr., and you are a Republican, and every word that has ever come out of Cenk's mouth you disagree with, at least support his platform. At least support his support from others, you know, and encourage people like Bernie Sanders to come back and endorse him. Now, luckily, the Bernie Sanders endorsement is going to hit a lot more people than the non-endorsement, than the unendorsing. So, you know, the damage is already done, Bernie. Thank you. The damage is already done. And I'm saying I appreciate it, because by damage I'm saying he's already endorsed him. Oh, David, don't tell me what to do, and now you're blocked from my live show. Don't ever tell me to use fucking tobacco, you fucking idiot. Now you're blocked. Go away. Hash, what's up, son? Hey, Hash. Hash, why don't you tell everybody what this is and where it came from? What is that? What is that, and where did it come from, Hash? You tell everybody. I'm going to pack a bong hit. You tell us where that came from. What is that? What did you do? What did you do? Sit down. Tell me what you did. Hutch, what's up? Did you get the pain oil face for the hoodies? Hutch, you didn't get your fucking hoodie yet, bro? Hutch, did you order a pain oil face hoodie and not get it? Like I said, you could be a staunch Republican, but you should still support Jenkins getting Bernie Sanders' endorsement for something that he typed on a blog 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that he's since then has obviously righted and apologized for profusely. You bought it from Turkey. You bought this from Turkey. Hutch, I'm confused. I'm so confused right now. Did you get a nay face? Don't you have a nay? You've got a nay face, right? Trump's probably going bye-bye. No, actually, Trump's not going anywhere, man. He might even win the next election, you know? Just depends on how motivated people are and how sick of it they are. I mean, I'm trying to help, guys. You know, I'm getting paid. Donald Trump is paying to shut me up, and I'm not doing it. So, you know, join me. Join me in defeating him come, you know, November 2020. Oh, you have not ordered a nay face yet. Oh, okay. I've never smoked tobacco, and I get a lot of compliments on my skin. Mary says, Valenzuela. Kepper. Hey, it's 7:10. Everybody cheers. No law regarding cannabis. Yeah, it smells like pineapples on my fingers. Andrew, can I get you anything, like a cup of coffee or anything? You're welcome. Joey Ramaz, Trendy Mafia. What? 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 Mackenzie Corrado, Trendy Mafia. What? You want to go outside, buddy? You want to go outside? Or do you want to stay inside? What do you want? Oh, are you chewing up cannabis stems? Oh, that is so cute. I bet you're going to be all calm. Hmm? No? Not going outside? It's okay. Why don't you just lay down there, you little cannabis stem chewer upper. Rogan's found some stems. Trina, hello. I hope you learned how to concentrate cannabis today. I taught you how to concentrate cannabis today, didn't I? I showed you how to take a jar, put alcohol in it, drop the cannabis in there, soak it. Warm alcohol is better. Be very careful. Do this outside. Don't use an open flame. You know, you can use a hair dryer to warm up the alcohol in the jar. You know, soak the cannabis in there for, you know, you can soak it for 48 hours if you want. You did. You learned. Pour it out. You can use a coffee filter. Slowly pour it out into a tray. You know, you could use a tray like this, or you can use a glass tray, preferably. And then you're going to scrape that out with a razor blade. So probably don't use something painted. But you know, plus it's got alcohol in it. But use a glass tray and let the alcohol purge off. It'll evaporate on its own, especially if you're using 99.9%. It'll evaporate on its own. It'll evaporate quicker if you can warm it up. So I use a griddle. Then you're left with this. Then you're left with oil right here, just black oil. And this, of course, has been mixed with coconut oil. This is probably like a 10% mixture of 10% cannabis oil to 90% coconut oil in this. But this stuff is so bomb. Stronger than trendy paint oil, of course. Oh, Mr. Juggalo, thank you for hosting me. My father would do that and use the alcohol on the skin for pain. Huh. That would penetrate down into the skin, the alcohol. All the trendies. Hey, Scott Benoit, what's up? I made it, lol, says Mr. Juggalo. Rogan? Rogan! Hey. No. You be nice to him. Okay? I feel like I'm showing you guys the most efficient way to do chores, so great. Well, I love it if you guys can clean this place up. Have a good day. Carlos is like, I'm going outside again. Fuck it. I'm gonna be an outside. Carlos is like, I'm gonna be an outside cat. Fuck that pit bull. Can't take the pit bull. Too much pit in that bull. There's too much bull in that pit. There's too much bull in that pit. That's for goddamn sure. Hey, Nay, do you know your #1 motivation why I quit tobacco after 28 years heavy use? Andrea, did you hear what my friend just told me? Andrea, this thing right here, he gave me this. He got this in Turkey. He just said to me, edible oil is easy. Just cook the trim in butter and water, and the oil will separate from the water. Huh, Azradel, that's an interesting method. I like that. I like that method. Everyone look at that method. He says, cook the trim in butter and water, and the oil will separate from the water. See, I've never actually heard it done that way. Oil goes into the... It doesn't separate. Yeah, it separates. You put it in the fridge and it completely separates. It doesn't separate completely because it tastes like chlorophyll. Every time I've made it, that's how you do it. Separate. But it tastes like cannabis when you can taste it. It's not like using a concentrate where there's no flavor. Ugh. That's the problem. That's the whole point of using a concentrate. Jank on Jimmy Dore this Sunday. Rogan, you're being impossible, buddy. You know that? I'm happy you quit tobacco too, Hash. That might have saved your life, brother. She was like, nope, I'm doing it like Nay does. Tastes pretty off. And Azrael, the guy that told me that, he's like, that's true. It tastes pretty off in your cookies and brownies. Right? I mean... Yes, it works that way. I thought you were talking about a way of actually taking the oil and separating it from that chlorophyll flavor, but it's green. You turn the butter green. You're putting chlorophyll in the butter. The butter turns green. You know, if there's a way, you know, you use ice water to get the trikes, to separate the trikes, and you can use that. I mean, I said trikes. I mean, yeah, the trikes. Separate the trikes. Thinking of terps. Terps are in the trikes. 11 years tobacco-free, Hash? 11 years ago, I convinced you to quit smoking tobacco? God damn, son. I've known you for a long time. I've had this for a long time. I've had that for a long time. Rogan. Rogan. No. You just stop it, okay? Leave the cat alone. Come here. Come here. Come here, buddy. Rogan, come here. Rogan, come here. Good boy. Come here. I love you. I'm sorry. I know everybody's mean to you and says, Rogan, no. All the time. I'm sorry. I know. We need some love. You're just a puppy. I know. Come here, buddy. I love you. To order more pain oil, rub it on my back every day after work. It works better than ice hot, and I won't take the pills from the doctor. I told him to stick them up his ass and quit trying to give them to me. Hutch, you just earned my next tweet, son. That shit's going up on the Twitterverse, bro. I'm going to tweet that out on the Twitterverse. Oh. Give me a second here to tweet this. Whoa, it's almost 420. Look at that. Whoa! Happy 420. Cheers. No law regarding cannabis, everybody. Cheers. Hey, what did I tell you? Come here. Come here, Rogan. Good boy. Good boy. I'm going to give you a cookie. Right on, Mary. Space fart. Yes. Where are we? We are on Twitter. We're on the Twitter sphere. We're writing a tweet from Hutch. Hashtag trendy pain oil. Listen, any of you guys want to do a nice tweet, P capital O, you can also put hashtag TPO after that. Okay? Retweet me. I want honor. It's on Twitter. It's trendy as dabbers. You can play along. All you have to do is download the Twitter app for free on your phone or on your computer. Just go to twitter.com and fill out have an email address, and do an account, the name and password. Sign in, find trendy as dabbers, and play along. Oh, there's the first like. There's the first like, and the first like is from. Drum roll. No items. It takes a while sometimes for this to load. No items. View tweet activity. Dude, I've already got 3 total engagements, man. I told him to stick them up his ass and quit trying to give them to me. Dude, I love that. Okay, it was Teresa, then Debbie, then Enoch. All right, now I want you guys to like that. I want you to retweet it. There's 4 retweets. Yes, the retweets are from DJ Suture. I'm following you, Enoch Torres, and Debbie. And now I want comments on the tweet. Who is going to comment on the tweet? You have to comment. Who's the first person to leave that comment on the tweet? What did that sound like? Sound like a pigeon or a dove? You sound like a dove. What was that? Oh, we got comments. We got comments. Who's the first comment? Teresa! Debbie, Enoch, Trendy Hutch, and DJ Suture. The oldest one says Debbie. 54 seconds ago. I totally agree. Works wonders. Debbie. All right. All of you that are participating, this is for all of you. I think Debbie got the first comment. And you guys, thank you so much for playing along. Please head on over to Twitter, guys. And this is how you support me when I put up a tweet. Also, make sure you sign up for notifications. So as soon as I put a tweet up, you get notified. You know, oh, Nay's up. He's tweeting. You know, he could go live here. Possible. When I'm tweeting, man, my brain's going, and I might see something go, oh, man, I should go live with that right now. All right. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers. I think I went to Fame, but I can't remember what I saw there.
Time is a mystery. One of those things science hasn't been able to understand yet, like deja vu, a man box, deja vu. When I was a kid, it felt like time dragged on forever. And now that I'm older, it feels like it's never enough. Which is probably what they mean when they say time is relative. Because how you perceive it depends entirely on your point of view.
You know, I just had an idea for a movie. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be about global dimming, and Greta Thunberg is going to be the big hero. She's going to shut down all the coal-fired plants, all the industry. She's going to get all the cars converted to, you know, she's going to somehow solve cow burping, and we're going to stop the polar ice caps from melting. And all of a sudden, the masking effect that we have from all the pollution that we create from all of that is going to disappear. And then the sun's going to melt the earth, and then we all die. And that's because people all start having deja vu. What's the translation for deja vu? I need to know, so I'm gonna look that up real quick. I wonder if the word "to" is in there. Okay, deja vu. Bernie Sanders just went live on Facebook, everybody. I want you all to know you don't have to tune into Facebook to see me live. I'm here right now, and I'm working very hard on my hand movements. I've found that I've been keeping my hands in one place, and I probably shouldn't do that. I need to move them around a little bit more. I need to point. I know that I'm very much on a good point. I like to point. I'll point over here, and then sometimes I'll put my hands up in the air, and I'll do this. And my shoulders will do this, and suddenly my shoulders, they'll disappear. My neck disappears, and then I'm back, and then I'm back, and I'm doing this again. So, of course, Medicare for all, you want to look into that. Dude, this is a mess. What's going on with Cenk and Bernie Sanders is a fucking mess. I really wish this hadn't happened, and I really wish that if Bernie Sanders was going to endorse Cenk Uygur, he would have done more research on him, you know, or the people that are working for Bernie Sanders should have done more research on Cenk before allowing Bernie to publicly endorse him, and then he wouldn't have had this problem. Or, you know, like the Republicans are saying, hey, get over the fact that Cenk Uygur said some things about women, you know, 12 fucking years ago, or however long ago it was, and that he has worked his whole life to not being that guy anymore. You know? I mean, look at what... Don't touch that. Hey, Rogan, don't touch that. No. Look at what he's done for Anna Kaspazarian and all the other women that work for the Young Turks. And they've got a whole crew. You know, and I'm sure if there was some sort of, inappropriate behavior going on his part, it'd be all over the goddamn internet, and Anna wouldn't fucking be there supporting his ass. So, give him the benefit of the doubt, Bernie. I can't believe you yanked your support. Jordan Sheridan is live. Jimmy Dore was live when I went live. So now Bernie Sanders is live, and I'd like to hear if Bernie Sanders is going to address the jank thing. Is he gonna unendorse fucking? Dude, I want to go. I'm fucking. Facebook's taking forever to load because I'm live broadcasting. This computer doesn't have the processing. I like that. Just Bernie Sanders comes up. Live. There it is, son of a bitch. There, I just liked it. Let's see what the man's talking about. I doubt he's going to be talking about jank. Right? Right? And if anything, he should be going on and re-endorsing jank right now. Because, like I said, Bernie Sanders is guilty of the exact same thing jank is guilty of. He said some bad things about women years ago. And I was president. I still call a cunt a cunt. Like, I'm going to give it a good comment. I'm going to say hashtag back Bernie now. Yeah, Ilhan Omar. Woo! She's ripping it up, son. What? Dude, don't do this to my shit. Just fucking. Oh, Zinna, you're welcome. Hey, it's my freaking pleasure. Hey, that's all I gotta say.
I know what it means.
Ilhan Omar, I want to hear you speak. God damn it!
Kind of hunger.
Fuck! What can I close so I can hear her voice? Probably go over to my other computer.
Haven't had. If you are like Bernie and I, and you believe
Nothing else. Let's check out.
Where you're sitting there trimming. I gotta find my phone. Oh, here.
homeless people sleeping on the sides of streets in New Hampshire and in Minnesota in the frigid cold weather, and that somehow is a radical idea, then we should all be so excited to be radicals.
It's too bad it's not. It's too bad it's not playing.
That is a radical idea. Then yes, this refugee is very radical.
I wonder if I could check and see.
If you believe that it is a moral outrage that we continue to give the fossil fuel industry $20 billion in corporate welfare per year, and you believe, as Bernie and I do, that ending that corporate warfare If you believe that it is time to end the waste we generate each year that's fueling the climate crisis is radical, yes, I am radical.
Oh, you're radical. You're radical. You need to hashtag study global dimming before you fuck it all up.
If, like Bernie and I, you have a moral outrage that we continue to shower millionaires and billionaires and corporations with tax cuts while slashing health care for our seniors, if that belief is so radical, if so, then I am also proud to be radical. If you happen to believe that we as a nation should invest in jobs guarantee to build our nation, if you believe that the federal minimum wage should be $15 an hour because no one who works in America should live in poverty, if you believe with all of your heart that my destiny, your destiny, and the destiny of workers around the world are tied together. If that belief is radical, then we should all be radicals.
I'm so glad this is working now. Hopefully you'll be able to listen to Bernie like this too. I'm thinking about bringing up the image for you guys too, so you can see it as well as hear it.
The truth is, the only radicalism we are motivated by is radical love. That's why we're calling everyone to be moved radically by the love they have for their neighbors, for their country, for their democracy, and for the world. Of his whole life. Is the one that motivated Dr. Martin Luther King. Multiracial Coalition America.
She is a horrible orator.
Extension. So I want
my audio is crackly. Uh-oh. Yeah, I was saying I do still dab. All right, look. Thomas Comfort of Bonghits. Cheers. I actually could set up I've got
to be moved for the sanctity of humanity, to organize, to mobilize, so that we can bring about real change in this country.
Cheers, guys.
For me, being radical means believing in the idea that politics could be used as a vehicle to bringing joy into people's lives. It is because of my radical love that has brought me here today. It is the radical love I have for our movement. It's the radical love that I have for my children. It's the radical love that I have for that dream of America. For the radical love that I have for our country. And the radical love that I have for where it could be for the betterment of all of us. So the radical in me is radically excited.
Woo, to present everybody calm down, please sit down.
To introduce
I'm going to talk to you about alcohol. Everybody please,
the next president of the United States, Senator Bernie Sanders.
I don't know if I'm going to get a problem with that. So here, I'll just I'll mute that music for a second. Okay, mute the music.
I want to thank all of you.
We don't want the music on here. Hey,
Rogan, coming out this evening, and I especially want to thank Congresswoman Ilhan Omar for coming all the way from Minneapolis. This Congresswoman is not only one of the most progressive members of the U.S. House, a leader on so many important issues, she is also one of the bravest members of the United States Congress. She has stood up to more ugliness coming from the highest levels of government that I have ever seen.
It's true.
And I am so impressed by all that she does and so honored to be able to work with her and have her here in New Hampshire.
That woman is put up with,
thank you so much.
Some of them, we should be ashamed that we've allowed the people that have to remain in office. We should, our president included, we should be fucking ashamed.
Let me. Thank you. Let me thank Parsons Field for their music. Let me thank Harriet Shapiro Barnett for her remarks, and that is what a 17-year-old can do. Let me thank State Representative Mark King for his support. And thanks to Shauna Kelly for her support as well.
Hey, Jim. I'm on right now.
Touched on
Kepler, actually,
what I was
I'm on right now. I want you to know, Kepler, I'm very high.
You said it better than I can.
I'm very high, Kepler, right now. Just like I'm always high. I watch Straight Guys Kepler's all the time, too. Just like you do, Kepler.
And that is a quote that I often think about from Nelson Mandela. Ilhan made the same point, but let me make it a little bit differently. And that is Mandela, who was one of the great heroes of the 20th century. He said, "Everything seems impossible until it is done."
Words of hope and inspiration.
Everything seems impossible.
It's time to smoke, everybody. Cheers.
Until it is done. And I want now to kind of take you back in history to what that means. 100 years ago, more or less, women, young people don't know this, but women in the United States of America not only did not have the right to vote, they were told that their world was centered in the house, that they were not to get the education they wanted and dreamed of or the jobs that they wanted to do. The world defined for them, the establishment defined for them who they were.
Okay.
But women, 100 plus years ago, and their male allies, and today, are standing up and saying, "Excuse me, you will not define who I am. I will define who I am." "100 years ago," which, by the way, from an historical point of view, is not a long period of time. 100 years ago, African Americans in this country could not have the right to vote in many parts of the country. Kids could not go to good schools. could not drink out of water fountains, could not walk into a restaurant, could not vote because of the color of their skin. And what the establishment in the South, elsewhere, was saying, well, that's the way it is. You know, it's the way it's always been, and that's the way it is. But people looked around them and said, no, it is wrong. Racism is wrong. And millions of people stood up and fought back. And in the 1960s, we passed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, etc., etc., etc. 30 years ago, if I were here in front of you and I said that gay marriage would be legal in every state in this country, you would have thought I was crazy. But because of the courage of the gay community and their straight allies, people stood together and said whatever they want.
Fuck you, Hillary Clinton.
Fuck you, Hillary Clinton. That's what he's trying to do. He just threw a fucking huge jab at Hillary Clinton. Marriage is between a man and a woman.
What's my point? Going back to what Mandela said, is that now we look back and
You want a Bonghit?
women work in all kinds of areas, go to all kinds of schools, blah, 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 blah. It's not for young people. It's a nothing issue, of course. Who argues that issue anymore? Who argues among younger generation, especially, that people have a right to marry who they want to marry? Who thinks for a second that because your color of your skin is not white, you should not be allowed to vote? Point is that when people stand together and struggle and succeed, not only can they win important victories, but 20 years later, people look back and say, hey, it's no big deal. Of course, that's the way it should be. So our job now is to kind of look to the future and kind of try to think about what people 30 years from now or 50 years from now will be saying about this moment, a moment that we accept. And they will say, I cannot believe you allow this to go on. You see? Let me give you some examples. Your grandchildren will look you in the eye and say, I cannot believe that in America you allowed 3 people to own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. I cannot believe that at a time when 49% of all new income is going to the top 1%, you allowed
cool, Nick.
500,000 Americans to sleep out on the streets. I cannot believe, Grandpa. See, that's them talking to you.
It's so funny.
That you actually allowed people who were sick to be in a position where they couldn't go to the doctor.
Don't you want this guy to be president of the United
How did
States,
you allow
man?
that to happen? How did you allow that?
Wouldn't this be better than Donald Trump,
I
guys?
can't believe
They're
that
winning so
you
much. We can't win any more than what
lived at a time when women
ourselves. The economy's never
were
been
not
better.
able
Oh, God, please.
to control their own bodies.
Thank you, Bernie. Yes. Yes.
Fucking Republicans.
In other words, what we want to do is to take a hard look at You're making that fellow feel even worse. What we want to be doing is having the courage to think big where we want to go, what a moral and democratic and civilized society is about. That's what we want to be thinking of. And by the way, you're not going to see that on TV. And you're not going to hear. Campaign is in a sense, thinking outside of the box. Of asking the hard questions, which my colleagues in the Senate and the House often don't ask, are not asked on the media, in the media as well. So what are some of those questions? We pride ourselves in living in a quote-unquote democracy. But what kind of democracy are we living in when billionaires can spend hundreds of millions of dollars to elect candidates who represent the wealthy and the powerful? That is not democracy, that is oligarchy. You to have so much while at the same time,
1 minute,
half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. So our fight is to reject all of the theories that tell us that massive levels of income, that is okay. It is not okay. It is morally obscene. And our job together is to have the vision of figuring out how we create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. A long time ago that it is much more important to ask the right questions than to have the right answers. When we talk about an agenda that works for working people, it means that nobody ain't a radical idea. Now, let me tell you how change takes place. 4 years ago, when I came here in New Hampshire, and I said, you know what? We got to raise that minimum wage to a living wage, at least $15 an hour. It was considered a radical extremist idea. Well, you know what happened in the last 4 years? 7 states have voted to raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. And Ilhan and her progressive colleagues in the House passed legislation to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. It is not a radical idea to say that in America, women should get equal pay for equal work. It is not harder for workers to join unions. Now, when you think outside of the box, let's think about and talk about education for a second. Let's look at where we are right now. A few weeks ago, I was here in New Hampshire. It was Manchester, and I was talking to some teachers. And they said that in this great state, right here in New Hampshire, one of the more wealthy states in the country, you got teachers starting off at $28,500 a year in some locations. In Oklahoma, because of budgetary constraints, experienced teachers who are leaving the profession because they don't want to work 2 or 3 jobs. to be able to pay the bills. They don't want to take money out of their own limited incomes in order to buy school supplies. Right now, as Ilhan mentioned earlier, we got kids who are going to school who are hungry. Kids who are coming from families with enormous problems. So what we believe, what I believe, and I know you believe, is that we have got to make education the highest priority in our country. Out of school is what makes us human, something we should be doing to the day we die.
Human.
So what we will do is our agenda says, first of all, we listen to the psychologists who tell us that 0 through 4 are the most important years of intellectual and emotional development for human beings. Well, if that's true, why do we have a dysfunctional child care pre-K system in America? Why is it that millions of working class families today cannot find quality, affordable child care, while the workers who are employed in child care centers are underpaid? So if we love our country, we love our children. And if we love our children, we're going to make sure that every... And we're going to change our value system. I just read last week that one of the leading pitchers in the major leagues, I think it was a guy who was in the Washington Nationals, signed a contract for $245 million. Now, if we can pay a pitcher $245 million, I think we can pay every teacher in this country. And to the young people who are here, what I want us to create a system when the young people in colleges say, you know what, I want to do with my life enormously important work. And there is no more important work than being a teacher and educating young people.
Or educating older people. It doesn't matter their age range.
And when we talk about education, I want every kid in this country to understand that if he or she takes school seriously, does their homework, studies hard, that regardless of the income of his or her family, that child will be able to get a higher education. Four-year tuition free, that was seemingly a radical idea. Well, guess what? All over this country, states and cities and counties are moving in exactly that direction. And again, it is thinking for well over 100 years when we thought about free public education, it was K through 12. The world has changed. Technology in the middle class, by and large, and get the good jobs that are out there, you need a higher education. We must and will, in our administration, make public colleges and universities tuition free. So that's thinking outside of the box a little bit. I'll give you another example of how we think outside of the box
A little bit.
in education.
A little bit.
11 years ago, against my vote, Congress voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street who nearly destroyed our economy. You all remember that.
Does he not? He doesn't use that.
Not only did they get a massive bailout from Congress, they got trillions of dollars in zero interest loans. 2 years ago, Trump and his friends decided to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1% and large
That's true.
corporations.
That's true.
Well, when you government can do more student debt.
Can you guys hear me and see me? Anybody? Can anybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. If you guys can hear what Bernie's saying. If it's, if it's choppy.
And when we begin to think outside of the box, and when we begin to ask ourselves the kind of 50 years from now, 30 years from now, we have got to understand that it is imperative that we end the international embarrassment of America being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. And let me be clear. There's a lot of confusion about what this means. I want to take a second to tell you what Medicare, all the legislation that I wrote. People are paying premiums, right? That's high. But many of you are going to be paying $500 a month, maybe $1,000 a month. You're paying co-payments. You know what that is? You're having, in most cases here,
you mean deductible.
We got to deduct. So what happens?
Only 5,600. God, he's got a tiny audience on Facebook. 5,600.
Got to shell out the first 5,000 or 10,000, whatever it may be. You don't have the money. And if you don't have the money, you don't go to the doctor who died last year because they didn't get to a doctor when they should have because they lacked health insurance or they were underinsured. All right? So I want you to think about healthcare. What kind of system do we want? Well, it is not that complicated. It exists in many ways right north of us in Canada. In Canada, you go to any doctor you want. You go to any... Now, when we talk about a cruel and dysfunctional healthcare system, the one we have, it is not just that people can't afford to go to the doctor.
Try to share it.
It is a system, I want you to think about this for a second, a system which forces 500,000 people in our country to go bankrupt because of medically related deaths. Think about it. Look, if you want to gamble and you lose money, you go bankrupt, one thing. If you want to buy a big house that you can't afford, you go bankrupt, another thing. If you're spending more money than you have and you're irresponsible, another thing. You should not go bankrupt because you are dealing with cancer or... Again, I want you to think outside of the box. I have their credit ratings shot to hell because they're late in paying their medical bills. That is not the kind of healthcare system we should allow to continue. So what does Medicare for All mean? Very simple. It means there are no longer any premiums for you as workers or for your employer. Gone. There is no more any out-of-pocket expense. Gone. And furthermore, what we do, and again, when you talk about the healthcare system, this system, and you see how absurd it is, what we do is expand Medicare to cover dental care. Last I heard, oral health was part of health care. We provide hearing aids and eyeglasses, and we will have Medicare for all cover home health care. Now, I have been criticized by Trump and Republicans. I have been criticized by the healthcare industry. I have been criticized by establishment Democrats. And they say, Bernie, how are you going to pay for all of that? So let me tell you how we're going to pay for that. Before I tell you, though, we got to ask how we're paying for it right now. All right, sometimes that part of the discussion is left aside. Right now, the median family in this country, family right in the middle of our economy, makes about $60,000 a year. That family is now paying $12,000 a year for health care. That's premiums, out-of-pocket expenses, co-payments, etc., prescription drugs, etc. Okay? $12,000 a year out of $60,000 income. That is a heck of a lot of money. So what we do is we end all premiums, co-payments, deductibles, out-of-pocket expenses, but healthcare is not free. I'd be lying to you if I said, hey, free healthcare, pay 4% of your income, but we are going to exempt the first $29,000 from taxation. That means if you make $29,000 or less, you're not paying anything. If you're making $60,000, you're being taxed 4% on $31,000, about $1,200 a year for comprehensive health care. Pretty good deal.
Unreal. Unreal.
So anybody who wants to challenge me how we are going to pay for it, and that's only part of how we pay for it, they have to defend why they think it's a good idea for that average family to pay $12,000 when under our approach they pay $1,200.
Wow. There you go.
But in order to get Medicare,
Simple math.
we're not really involved here in a healthcare debate because it is impossible to defend the current system. We are spending twice as much per person on healthcare as do the people of any other country. You've got 87 million people who are uninsured or underinsured. Hard to defend that. What the real debate is about is whether or not we have the courage to take on the greed and corruption of the insurance companies and the drug companies. And as President of the United States, I will lead that effort. And I want you to think about this also. Again, I'm asking you to think outside of the box. How irrational certain things are. Right now, because of the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry, we are paying by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. A number of months ago, I went to Canada with some people in the Midwest who were dealing with diabetes. Do you know what the differential for the same exact insulin sold in Canada was compared to the United States? Anyone know? 10 times. We are paying 10 times more for insulin than the people of Canada. Same product, same company. And that's because we have allowed the drug companies to be able to do anything they want, to raise their prices to any level, and together we are going to put an end to that absurdity. There's another issue that I want to touch on, and by the way, when I use the word, when I talk about the pharmaceutical industry, we're not just talking about greed. They made $69 billion in profit last year. We're talking about corruption. We are talking about price fixing. We are talking about people who manufacture opioids, something that has hit this state so very hard, who knowingly, that's what the lawsuit is about now by the state attorneys generals, who knowingly were selling a product that was addicting tens and tens and tens of thousands of Americans and killing people all over this country. We will hold the pharmaceutical industry accountable. But it's not just the pharmaceutical industry that acts with incredible greed and irresponsibility. Think outside of the box and take a look at the fossil fuel industry. Think about it. What the fossil fuel industry has known for decades, that's what their scientists have told them, is that the product that they are producing is causing climate change and is in fact day after day helping to destroy our planet. And what the fossil fuel industry did is, instead of, when they learned the truth, told the American people the truth, what they did is spend millions of dollars trying to obfuscate that issue, and they lied to the American people. So tonight, I say to the fossil fuel industry, your short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. And let me tell you, the more I study this issue, the more nervous I become. Because what the scientists are telling us today is that they have and the entire planet.
Listen close, kids.
And what they are saying, these are the people who know the issue the best, is that we have a handful of years, fewer than 10 years, to get our act together, or else the damage that will take place in our country and the world will be irreparable. Irreparable, unable to be dealt with. What we are talking about now are the polar ice caps melting at a far more rapid speed than was anticipated. The ocean warming faster than we had thought. The result is that the seas all over the world are rising at a faster rate than was anticipated, meaning by the end of the century in the United States, major cities, Miami, Charleston, South Carolina, New York City, could be significantly underwater, not to mention low-level countries like Bangladesh and Vietnam with hundreds of millions of people. So you're looking at sea levels rising, impacting people all over the world. You are looking at more drought. What you are seeing right now today is Australia is on fire. You are seeing the horrible damage being done in California. Unbelievable. The number of fires. People without, hundreds of thousands of people going without electricity in any given moment. And what the scientists are telling us, that situation will only get worse. You're seeing major cities like Cape Town, South Africa, a few days away from when people turn on the faucet, there will be no water there at all. You are seeing, as our oceans acidic, the dying off of many species of fish. And hundreds of millions of people all over the world rely on fish for their protein, but those fish will not be there. What you're looking at, more and more extreme weather disturbances, which is what happened in Venice, Italy, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, underwater. You're looking, and Elon mentioned this, is that refugees, that means they are living in parts of the world where there will not be any drinking water, or there will not be any land to grow their crops. They're going to move.
Migrate.
And when millions of people migrate, you have very high levels of international tension and the potential for war. And on it goes. You're looking at increased disease. Malaria thrives in hot weather, and we're seeing the spread of malaria to new regions of the world. So we got a real crisis here. And that is why during this campaign, I listened to the scientists on my idea. I failed physics in college. But I did listen to the scientists, and we brought forth the most comprehensive climate change legislation ever introduced by any candidate for federal office. And that legislation, which Ilhan strongly supports in the House, as do many others, is based on the principles of the Green New Deal. And what system, as quickly as humanly possible, away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energies like wind, solar, geothermal. And anyone like Trump, who tells people that climate change isn't real or it's a hoax, why people are willing to threaten the well-being of their children, and I really, literally cannot understand that. All right? Under our administration, that is going to end. Just want to very briefly touch on a couple of other issues that I know that you are thinking about. And that is, number one, we have got to fundamentally reform a broken and racist criminal justice system. We are going to invest in our young people in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration. We are going to end private prisons and detention centers. And we are going to end the horribly destructive so-called war on drugs.
There you go. There you go, Pepper.
We are going to make marijuana legal in every state in this country.
Cannabis! Call it cannabis.
We're going to expunge the records of those arrested for possession of marijuana.
There you go, Pepper.
And we're going to do our best to make sure that those people who profit off the legal sale of marijuana are not a handful of major corporations, but the people who have suffered the most under the war on drugs.
Penny Payne
I
Royal.
know that
Bottom of the hour
here
guys.
shares the pain that I feel when we turn on the television and we learn that there's been another mass shooting somewhere in America.
Uh-oh, here we go. Don't grab my guns.
I
Don't grab
have
my
three
guns.
grandchildren in this state who undergo, as all the kids do, I guess,
Don't grab my guns, Bernie.
drills in order to
Backroad checks?
be prepared for some horrible event.
We're going to get some backroad checks?
All I can tell you about that issue, determined by the American people.
That's fair. I'll agree with that. That's the democratic country we live in. That's very well said, Bernie. Very
That
statesmanlike.
means we're going to have universal way with the straw man provision that allows people to legally buy guns and then sell them to criminals. And we're also going to do with the American people.
What?
We will bring about And on my first day in office,
Right,
I
Kevin?
will issue executive orders ending all of the racist executive orders that Trump has promulgated on immigration.
Very good, Bernie. Very well said. I agree. Undo all this hate and bullshit.
And we will, on that first day, reestablish
First day.
legal protection for the 1.8 million young people
DACA?
and their parents
DACA?
eligible for the DACA program.
Dude, Bernie could win.
As a United States Senator,
Bernie could
I
win.
am obliged to listen to many speeches on the floor of the Senate. Pretty painful experience, but that's what I'm paid to do. And you know, I hear many conservatives out there saying, you know, we are conservatives. We believe in limited small government. We believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people. You ever heard that mantra? Well, all I say to those so-called conservatives, if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, then understand that it is women who have a right to control their own bodies, not the government. And my promise to you is that I will never nominate anybody to the U.S. Supreme Court who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. We are in an unprecedented and dangerous moment, not only in American history, but in world history. And in this small state, as you all know, New Hampshire plays an outsized role in terms of the primary process. You are the first primary state in the country. Iowa is the first caucus state in the country. So what you do here, who wins matter in South Carolina and California and other states. So this state is enormously important. So tonight I'm here to ask several things of you. Number one, I am asking for your help to enable us to win the primary here in New Hampshire. And I believe we will win because we have a great staff. We have a great volunteer network. People are out on weekends, some of you right here, knocking on doors. I think last weekend we knocked on 10, 20,000 doors all over the state. And we're going to win because, unlike some of my opponents who run around the country and sit in wealthy people's living rooms raising money, what we have done is unprecedented in American political history. We have, as of from 1.3 million Americans, that is more that is not only more than my opponents, that is more than any candidate in the history of the United States of America. And that average contribution is $18. And you stop and think about it. This is money coming from working class people, from teachers, people who work at Amazon, people who work at Target. That's who is funding our campaign. So tonight I am here to ask for your help. With your help, we will win here in New Hampshire. I think we're doing really well in Iowa, doing really well in California and Nevada. We're going to do better than people think in South Carolina. We win those states, we got a path toward victory. Asking of you is not only to help me defeat the most dangerous president in modern American history, but I'm asking something more of you. And that is the day after you come to Washington to see our inauguration. We're going to give you a day off, enjoy the inauguration, but then we have got to roll up our sleeves and get to work in transforming this country. We need to take on Wall Street. We need to take on the drug companies and the insurance companies and the fossil fuel industry and the military-industrial complex. We will teach the people on top that while the 1% has enormous wealth and power, when the bottom 99% stand together, there is nothing that can stop us.
Go Bernie! Go Bernie!
Well, Nashua, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Let's go forward together.
The sideways fucking Pelosi clap. These are exciting times, my friends. Exciting times. I see a ghost in the house. A ghost in the house. So, you know, if there's one thing you can really walk away from all this, it's the Green New Deal thing is a little unsettling. You know, when he says we're going to do it quick, we're going to shut it all down really fast. Oh man, he needs to talk to Guy McPherson. And you know, stopping the sale of assault rifles, man, that's not cool. Assault, what he calls assault guns or whatever. What's your definition of an assault weapon? You know, there's no such thing. Every gun is made to assault you. Even the smallest little Derringer, it's made to hurt you. It's made to cause harm. Even if it's got one bullet in it. You know, a pop gun is an assault gun. So where do you draw the line at? They're all, if I take any one of those guns and shoot it at your head or in your eye, I could kill you. Right? So when does the assault kick in? You know? So those two things I have a big problem with. Glad he wants to legalize cannabis, and I'm glad that he wants to, everyone who's been charged with cannabis offenses, he wants to expunge. I think that's fantastic. Right. But, yeah, me too, Kepper. Me too. I mean, I don't agree with him on everything. I would much rather have him as president than Donald Trump, though. He's so much easier to listen to. He's so much more thoughtful, and he cares about people, and he's going to do the right thing. And that's what's really important. So, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys had fun watching Bernie Sanders tonight with me and getting high and stuff. No law regarding cannabis. Remember that. And you can head over to the website, trendyasdabbers.com, anytime. And support me on Twitter, trendyasdabbers on Twitter. Please go there. Twitter.